So now the second secret in the list of 7 principles of influence and communication superpowers is authority by association. Now, you have to understand this. You cannot be given a position of high responsibility and high pay if you don't associate yourself with people of influence. So the way you are perceived, so if I know your friend, I can tell you who you are. That works so much to influence people. So it's like if I tell you that, okay, this technique I'm teaching you, I learned it from Obama, you believe in that technique than if I told you that I learned it from Serge. Do you see the difference? So the way you present facts is very important. Now, I am very serious about this particular secret because it makes all the difference. So how do you exploit this association thing? So let's say you have a particular technique that you know it works. Let's say you want to talk about a project management technique, Serge, in your case, for example. Okay, this project management technique you've been using and it works very well, and you know that it can help your prospective hiring manager to get results. But if you say I have a project management technique that can help you get results, it's not as powerful if you said in bracket, this very project management technique is what is used by the world's best project manager. Maybe you give the name of that world's best project manager, and which is true, because I'm not talking about really lying here, I'm talking about the truth. It makes sense, but how do you know, how would you prove that, okay, this technique is the same technique that the world's best project manager uses? The best way to do it is to maybe attend a conference where the world's best project manager is attending, and you ask him a question. You frame the question this way. You say, let's say the technique is technique A. You ask him, please, can I ask you a question? He'll say yes. You say, okay, why is it that technique A works so well in project management? Now, the way people are wired, they will be forced to tell you why it works. They will not first tell you that I don't believe technique A works. No, because there you've already focused them on the question. The question you've asked intelligently. But if you ask them that, okay, what type of techniques in project management work for you, you will not be very sure that they will talk about your technique. So you want them to talk about the technique, and if possible, you can take note, or you can film it, or you can record it with a recorder. Or even if you cannot record it, the fact that they said it makes it true. So they will tell you that, okay, technique A works because of this, and I use it. Just that alone is important. Now, I'm not saying that you should attend a seminar to go and find the world's best project manager. I'm just saying there are people around you in your industry. If you cannot find the world's best project manager, you can say you can find the director of a well-respected company in your industry, that if you meet them in somewhere, maybe in a bar or a restaurant, that you can ask them one question. You just want them to ask, you just want to ask them that question, so that if they respond favorably to that question, you can quote it in your resume, and you can quote it in an interview. You can say, okay, this same technique is what is used by this and this senior manager of Perenco, and he said he has used it to maybe improve the sales of Perenco by these millions of dollars. So you can say this very technique helped Perenco to improve their sales by these millions of dollars. That is the technique I call clever truth, that we'll talk about later. But I'm just giving you an introduction into it. This is very powerful stuff. Again, I will show you how to use these techniques in your particular case. There is always somebody that if you quote their name in your resume or in an interview, the person listening to you will respect them. So you need to find those people that they respect. They might be so I'm not talking about looking for a celebrity like people that you cannot reach practically. I'm talking about people that they are in your town. They work in a company that's respected. If you mention just their position, so if you say director of operations in Pectin uses this technique, and you're saying that because maybe you went to a seminar, you met them there, or you went to a restaurant that they always come there to eat, and you met them there, and by the time they were jumping into their car and you stopped them, say, please, can I ask you one question? And they told you that makes all the difference. Can you hear me? Hello? Say yes if you can hear me, please. So let's go to so now so when I talk about interviewing people, I'm not talking about elaborate interviews here. I'm talking about influencers. If you say something, it's not as powerful as somebody of authority saying the same thing. So if I told you that this particular technique, as I use the same case again, if I told you that this particular technique is used by Obama, which is true, and I will show you, I'll demonstrate all of them. I have videos that I'll show you, and I'll explain everything that they do. If I tell you that, it makes all the difference. If I just told you that this particular technique works, you wouldn't have believed it. Let's take another example. Let's say you go, a friend tells you that it seems as if you have a liver problem. You will just look at the friend and laugh. That means you're crazy. But let's say a guy from a medical doctor, a specialist who has spent 10 years specializing in liver problems, tells you that I think you have liver problems. Whom of the two would you believe? I think you will just the next day you will just put together your funds and start negotiating for an operation or anything that can help. So there is the power of authority. And how can you tap into this power of authority? I will show you all these things. Again, I tell you, these principles are time tested and they work. Everybody moves when you use it intelligently on them. They will move in your favor. Another thing is answering key questions. So there are certain key questions that you can answer and publish in one way or another. So let's say you are working in your company and you have a friend who is working in a bigger company that you want to work for, or you want to work for another company that's similar to your friend's company. This is what you need to do. Call your friend, ask your friend that, okay, let's say you want to work as project manager in that company, or in a company similar to that company, and now you are in a lower position in your own company. What you need to do is call your friend who is a project manager in a higher position in that company and ask him that, okay, what are some of the problems you guys are facing with project management? They will tell you. And tell them that, okay, what are some of the strategies you are using to make sure that you have good results? They will tell you. And then chip in advice. If you know anything you can chip in, maybe you are doing a course on project management, or you have experience of something that works. Tell them that, can I give you a free advice? They will say yes. Okay, say, okay, this, I'll give you technique A. This is how technique A works. I want you to try technique A and give me a result after 2 weeks of what it has done to your business, or what results have you gotten from my advice. Now they will try it for free and they will tell you, and maybe it has improved their efficiency by 50%. That is enough. That is enough for you to use. So you use it in your resume and saying that, okay, a technique a special technique A that I help a friend in Codeco improve their efficiency by 50%. Now you are not working in Codeco, but you advise Codeco as a consultant, because whether it is free advice, it is still good advice. If you hear that, say yes, because this is very powerful, what I just told you. If you heard that said, say yes. So you don't need to do any magic. if you want to work in a company that's similar to Codeco as project manager, and you've advised the project manager of Pectin, which is like Codeco, you will say in your resume, a special technique A that I gave this project manager of Codeco that he used to increase his efficiency by 50%. That automatically shows that you are qualified to manage projects in Codeco or Pectin. This is powerful stuff, guys. This is very powerful. These are techniques that you don't need to spend a lot of money to do or a lot of effort to do. You just need to know how to do it the right way. Serge, are you getting me? Is it making sense?
Yes, please, 100%.
Okay, good. So let's go to the next item. So I said it's very important to hang out in events. So now, guys, you need to change the way you spend your time. Spend your time with people of value, so that anything you say about them acts in your favor. So don't hang out with losers. Hang out, go to events, go to restaurants, go to big restaurants, try to seek out people, try to meet them, try to engage in conversations, because you can sell these conversations. You can do a lot of things with these conversations. This is very important. Another thing you can do is taking pictures with celebrities, people that are considered celebrities in quotes. In your every profession has its celebrities, people who are respected in that profession. So take pictures with them. You can attach these pictures in your resume. You can even talk about them. So you can talk about them in an interview. So all of these things are important. So let's move on to the next item. I want to be sure that I'm on time. So the next secret is authority by publishing. So how do you gain authority by publishing? Remember, I told you that authority works. Authority makes people to move, makes people to take action in your favor. Now, maybe when I was talking about authority, you were thinking of maybe going to meet President Paul Biya or President Obama so that he signs a decree to get you hired in a company. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about how to intelligently use people of high power in a way that forces the person who is your audience to act in your favor. There are always ways to use them. You just need to use your imagination, and you'll see how to use them. And I'll show you exactly how to put these techniques to work individually, one-on-one. Okay, so now the next secret is secret number 3, authority by publishing. Now, I just told you about the technique of teaching for self-promotion. So you help a friend in a company, you are doing that for free, but you are doing that to promote yourself. Okay, guys, this is powerful. So how do you gain authority by publishing? There are a lot of newspapers in your town that are looking for free content. They are even looking for people to write a passage, an article in that newspaper. Write an article, put it in that newspaper for free, because they want good articles. So if you are talking about project management, if you can find an article, a magazine that talks about professional things, say something about project management, for example, or say something about vehicle management, or just offer it for free. And you write that article. You just need one article that you can use for the rest of your life, or 2 articles. That's all. You don't write an article, send it there. They will publish it in their newspaper, and you can quote that article in your resume, and you can quote it in an interview. You can say, this particular technique, I've shared it. This technique has been published in this newspaper because it's very important. You can share those type of things. Okay. So so those are the type of things you need to know. Another thing is speak writing. So I'll talk about writing an article. Some people don't like to write. So the best way to do it is just call a friend, give him 3 questions to ask you, because that's how you write your article. Call a friend one weekend, sit with him for an hour or 30 minutes, give him 3 questions to ask you the questions about project management, or about vehicle management, or about procurement management, or about anything. Question number 1, he asks you and you answer them. You record it, and after you record it, you can now give it to somebody to transcribe, to write it down. When they write it down, go and give it to somebody to type it if you don't have time, or you yourself you type it. Once you type it, you have an article. So you use the technique of speak writing, and the article will be more interesting because it will be as if you are speaking to the person. Because when they read it, they will really enjoy it, because it will be in conversational style, because you are talking to your friend who is asking you questions and you are responding to those questions. Transcribe it, then send it to the magazine to publish it in their magazine. Is that okay? If you can hear me, say yes.
Yes.
This is what I call techniques of massive influence. So when you start doing things like this, it positions you as an expert, and it gives you the authority that you deserve to command high pay, high salary. You need to understand the law of money. Money flows towards what is in rare supply. Diamonds are expensive because they make them to be rare. Fuel is expensive at times because the guys in Middle East decide that they want to make it to be rare. Okay, so, and that's why the price goes up. So when you have this type of portfolios, this type of things that other candidates don't have, it positions you as the only candidate that is rightfully prepared for the job, that rightfully merits the job. So the fact that you are rare, your value increases. Now this is not like theory. Okay, if you look around you, all the things you have in abundance, you don't respect them. That's why you go tomorrow to buy the next new shoe, or you go to check out on the next girlfriend or things like that. Or in fact, that is the law of life. Human beings psychologically always tend towards something that is in less supply. Okay, we are always longing for what is scarce. So a hiring manager will long for you because you are rare. Okay, you are rare to find. Okay, now another influence, another technique that you can use is speaking. When I talk about speaking here, I'm not saying that you should go and speak in a seminar. You might not have that opportunity, but can you speak as a guest in a meeting of professionals? Can you say, okay, you would like to come and share an idea with them? Or in your own association, can you say you want to share an idea? That's still speaking. Or can you take somebody to lunch, buy them lunch, somebody who is in a powerful position in one of the companies that are of the range of companies you want to work in? Can you take them to lunch and ask them question? And in the case of asking them, in the process of asking them question and they are answering, at the end of the process, you share an idea with them. That's speaking. That's speaking. And when you share that idea with them, you can say, okay, go and try this thing, and let me know. So you've created friendship because you bought them lunch, or you gave them what they wanted. I will share you other techniques that you can get to people. Let me just give you one done technique here, which is just badass. If you want to meet the director of a company, you can go look for their size of shoes, estimate their size of shoes, and buy a shoe. Send them one pair of shoe, one foot, not the two shoes. So not the pair, not the complete pair. Just package one shoe in a package and send them to them, and then put a letter inside. Say, I wanted to meet you, so I thought this would be something creative. I know it will be funny for you to see me send you a single shoe, but this was a way of me getting your attention. So you write that in a letter and you put it inside the shoe and send it to them. When it arrives, the secretary would, if it was a letter, the secretary would throw it away. But if it's a shoe, the secretary would like to present it to the director. So the director will open the shoe and look at it, and they'll pull out the letter and they'll read your letter. And they'll say, please call me. Your letter will say, please call me at this number. I really want to meet you because I have a solution for the problems you are facing in your company now. If you can hear that, say yes. So that is can you hear me? Ashu Henry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So when I tell you about, Pardon?
The person might say you are crazy.
Okay, so now so you need to be visible to the people who matter. Okay, the only way to be visible to them is to either maybe you have your own personal, you have you go to places where they hang out, or you find ways of making sure that they can read stuff that comes from you, either through a magazine or anything. Now, what about you writing this article in a magazine and then it is published? Why not take that magazine, put it inside the shoe plus your letter and send it to them? So you will say in your letter, I just tore this magazine so that you can see something about me that I wrote in this newsletter, in this magazine, so that you can know more about me. Sending the letter plus the shoe plus the magazine positions you as an expert, position you as somebody who can be listened to, or whom is worth listening to. So you've given advice to a magazine and you are telling the director of a company that you want to talk with them, you have to give them a solution. They will start believing you because your advice is being heard by a wide respectable public, a magazine. You see that? So I mean, these principles, there are many of them. Again, I cannot talk about their particular execution. There are different ways of executing all of these principles, but I will show each of you individually. Now let's move on. The next principle is authority by publicity. How do you gain publicity? Okay, how do you gain publicity? So I've just talked about one of the ways, which is about writing a free article, but it can be a radio show. You can be the president of an association and you are doing something in town that has never been done. Let's say your association visited an institution for the blind. So you have an association of friends and you decide that, okay, we want to visit a school of the blind, and you went to the school of the blind and you say, okay, you contact a radio professional, sorry, a journalist of your local radio station, and tell them that, okay, this is what we are doing to the community. Our association will be visiting this community. So you look around all the things that other associations, when they visit the school of the blind, what they do, and you try to do something that is different from that. The fact that it is different, it will be attractive to the journalist you will talk to. You tell them that, okay, everybody visit the blind, this is what they do, but we are doing something completely different. Maybe we are inviting each blind man who stays in that facility to come and stay in our home for 1 week, so that our wife can cook good food for them, because we want them to really feel the family touch. So that is the type of things that people in the media like, because when they share this type of stories with the public, this public like to tune in to hear more of this type of stories. So if you have this type of stories, you can be the spokesperson for your association, and they can invite you in the radio and say, okay, what you guys did was very good, and you can even say, this was my idea, so you should be the one to go and be the spokesperson, because it was the idea, it was your idea you gave to the group. So when you go to that radio station, they will ask you that, okay, Mr. Henry, can you tell me about yourself? You can say, okay, yeah, I am. You now position yourself the way you want your audience to listen to you. So instead of saying that I'm the supervisor of a park, you can now say, okay, I am a fleet management specialist. So for example, anything that has to do with managing vehicles, getting rid of complaining drivers and lousy complainer drivers, I'm a specialist. You are saying that because you know that, okay, if you had to quote that to your prospective hiring manager, they will like it, because they will not only hear you speaking about it in the radio, you'll be telling them. And then maybe the journalist will make a comment, will say, oh wow, that is great, now tell me about your association, what you did. Then you say that. Now when you are quoting you have to make sure that you pull the conversation a bit on fleet management. You can say, okay, one day you were busy at work trying to manage your drivers, and this crazy idea came up that, okay, there are lots of people who are less fortunate than yourself. You've had a lot of results because you're at work, and so you thought about blind people, that these are less fortunate people. God has blessed me, I've had a good job, and I've mastered how to manage how to manage a fleet of cars. And I said, okay, there are other people who are not as lucky as me, and that's how the idea came. So you are using the story of how you visited the blind people, and you are linking it to your job, because at the end of the day, you want something that if you quote in an interview, it will be related to your job. So maybe in the course of the conversation, the journalist will say, wow, you are really helping your company. I'm sure you are helping your company create a lot of value. They will say yes. Say, okay, the journalist will say, okay, you are a great man. So you can now quote that what the journalist said. You can say, okay, in your resume, you can say, the journalist of this radio said this about me. That's enough publicity for you that you can use either in your resume, or you can say it verbally in an interview. You see that? Serge, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, good. So so that's free publicity. So when you have gotten the publicity, the next stage now is to exploit it. Exploit in your resume, exploit it in an interview, in a live interview. So so the issue here, the bottom line here is that you need to let them know every bit of valuable work you've done, whether it is in your company or elsewhere. Let them know. Whether it was a single advice you gave verbally to a friend and they used it and it worked, let them know. Everything that you are doing, let them know. Okay. Now again, these are techniques that I personally use, okay? And these are techniques that a lot of people use for self-promotion. And if you find yourself not earning the type of money you want, know that you are lacking in how you promote yourself. Orok James, can you hear me?